We have all grown up seeing insane physiques, whether that be on Instagram, YouTube, movies. It's been installed in us since a young age that that's what we want to look like. And before I got in shape, I was no different. I wanted to look like these people. I had the motivation to do it, but I had no clue how to do it. I spent so many years running around in circles, wasting my time, putting all the work in, but seeing nothing in return. That's exactly why in this video, I'm going to break down everything you need to know to get rid of that forever and actually get the body that you want to achieve. The first thing we're going to cover is your training. Now your training is super important because as we bring fat down, we need to make sure that there's muscle underneath. Big mistake people make is they see this one method online, they go balls to the wall on it and end up just shrinking down into like a skinny shell of themselves. We want to make sure as we bring that body fat down, underneath we actually have muscle there. That's why I recommend you training anywhere from 3 to 5 days a week. I'd recommend training the muscle groups that you want to improve on twice a week. So for example, if I wanted that aesthetic physique, so my chest, my shoulders, maybe my arms, I would hit that on a Monday and potentially again on a Thursday. People over obsess about the split and forget about what truly matters, which is actually what you're doing inside the gym. If you're in the gym and you're not trained to failure or 1 to 2 reps before failure, then you're essentially wasting your time. That's actually a little bit harsh. But you need to train harder. No, but in all seriousness, if your training isn't intense enough, you're not going to be able to create that stimulus in order for that muscle to either be built, depending on your nutrition, or retained, obviously depending on your nutrition, which we're going to go into now. Once you've got your 4 to 5 day workout split, training the muscle groups you want to grow twice a week, and in there training and keeping things nice and intense, following me of course on Instagram and YouTube so you understand what to do and how to do the exercises, then we need to figure out your nutrition. Because if your nutrition isn't on point, then we can throw everything else out the window. Now this is where Instagram just kills the gains for so many people. I spent years seeing these things online, seeing these influencers and thinking, wow, that's exactly what I need to do in order to get to where I want to go. When in actual fact, that is crap. There's good stuff out there, but there's bad stuff out there. It just leaves you feeling confused. What I'm going to do is speak on my experience. I started pretty skinny fat. Not in a horrible position, but I wanted that lean athletic physique. I just didn't know how to get there. I didn't want to spend hours in the kitchen. I wasn't Gordon Ramsay, so I needed to figure out something that was quick and easy that I could actually do. So for me, I ate whole foods 80% of the time. You want to keep things relatively clean, but at the end of the day, what truly matters isn't actually the food that you're consuming. It's the amount of food you're consuming. Now, with that being said, you want to find that balance, like I mentioned, 80 to 20%. But if you're not hitting your macros, which we're now about to go into, then again, none of it matters. See, in order to see the best result, and what I think the best approach is to take if you're skinny fat, is bringing your body fat down. But where a lot of people go wrong is they rush that process and they just shrink down. That's why you want to start in a slight deficit, aiming for about 200 to 300 calories below your maintenance. You're also going to keep your protein super high. Not only so you can build muscle, but you can also stay satiated so you're not always dealing with cravings. What I don't want you doing is worrying too much about your carbs and fats just for now. Keep emphasis on protein being high, being in a calorie deficit, and also prioritizing fiber, whole food meals, and not eating a bunch of crap. My favorite meals are like white potatoes, steak, chicken, Greek yogurt for snacks, protein bars on deck, just keeping things super simple. I also have an air fryer and a rice cooker, which saves me because I have no idea what I'm doing in the kitchen. Depends what day you catch me. Sometimes I get in my groove. But that leads me into the most important part. And there's a few parts to this. That leads me into recovery. And the most important part, in my opinion, which is your sleep. Sleep is when you grow. Sleep is when your body releases hormones, releases toxins, all sorts of things. It can affect your mood. It can affect your performance in the gym. Everything. I like to aim for 7 to 8 hours a night, focusing on taking a little bit of a descent before bedtime, so I'm not just hopping in bed when I'm supposed to get 8 hours and then not being able to sleep. I take my time, I dim down the lights, not like what I'm doing right now. I have a cup of tea, I'll watch something boring on TV, and then I get my sleep. It's been a huge factor on how I've been able to transform my physique, and if I didn't have it in place, I don't think I'd be able to get to where I am today. Another thing is supplementation. I feel like a lot of people overhype supplementation, so I'm just gonna break down what I take. I take creatine because it aids me with my muscle growth, my recovery, and it's definitely worth having, but it's just the icing on the top of the cake. I take a men's multivitamin, I take pre-workout, and I take whey protein. That's honestly all you need. And as I said, it's just the icing on the cake. Now to round things up, if I could tell myself one thing back when I was lost, skinny fat, had no clue what to do, and didn't know if what I wanted to achieve was even achievable, I would just say, look, in order to get to where you want to go, it is going to take time. in order to get to where you go, you're going to have to somewhat start to enjoy this process. So take the information and tailor it around your lifestyle. There's no right or wrong way. Just remember your foundation: your sleep, your training intensity, execution, and being in a caloric deficit whilst prioritizing your protein. You do that, then you're gonna be sweet. There's gonna be ups and downs, but that's all a part of the process. And when you're walking on the beach, you have the confidence, you're looking down at your ripped abs and you can see your chest outline from a mile away. It will all be worth it.